Okay, so this is Lee Huang, Rakeen,
Hassan.
And Tamid Imran.
and this is our game, Super Fighters. So firstly, it opens up with the character selection panel, where you can select character 1 and character 2. You press start game, and it brings you to the stage selection panel, where you select what stage you want to play on. We'll choose Great Plains for this. And this game is a fighting game where two players have a certain amount of health, and the game ends when one player's health reaches 0. Dude, I'm missing everything. I'm missing all my specials.
It's a lot harder than it looks, especially if you're using the IJKL keys.
And then after one player's health reaches 0, a message pops up saying which player wins. So the left player is player 1, the right player is player 2, and since player 2 lost their health first, player 1 wins. Now we're gonna go over all the points. So for the GUI or graphical component, you wanna talk about this?
So the game itself uses a lot of GUI stuff. So with the paint component and
okay, and then so the paint component draws in the characters, the fighters, which is in the fighter class, and that is one of the GUI components. The next one are the main menu panel, the character selection panel, and the stage selection panel. These get an image which is passed through to make the background as background component, and yeah, that's the GUI. For user interaction in these two panels, for user interaction, you press buttons to select which characters and what stage you want to play.
And then you press the keys.
and then in the actual game itself, there's a key listener. It implements the key listener interface, and then for the one of the advanced data structures we used a hash set in a multi key press listener. So what this does is if the player presses multiple keys, so say they press the projectile button and the up button at the same time, it's gonna fire a upward projectile. So that's how we use the how we use the hash set. And the hash set is the best data structure for this because you can't have like duplicate keys in the hash set, so it makes it easier to sort out. And then
Fighter, Timmy.
Yeah. So this is Tamid, and I made the fighter class, which basically instantiates like which fighter you're gonna choose, whether it's like the fireman or the ice guy or the farmer, and it just gets like the images that you made for those, that each of us made for each of the characters. And then whenever we move, it like changes the distance for the up or the down, and then like whatever image or like position we're in, it like changes that way, like if it's right or left. And then we made like different images for each character, like if they're like shooting or like if they're hitting people or if they're just moving right or left. And
Java docs.
yeah, there's a lot of Java.
We have Java docs throughout.
And we also have the get health methods here, which like reduces the health every time a player gets hit by the hitbox, which we coded right here.
Hey, that's my computer.
And then I also coded the projectile class, which basically is like the bullet that we each have.
Yeah, let me show you
The
what I
fire guy has like a fireball, and the farmer has like a, what do you call it, like a ice something. And then the ice queen has the ice frost or something. And then this also has the same methods as the fighter, basically, where you get the hitbox and the get count and the moving methods. This also has the draw method, which you put in the panel and then it draws the bullet and stuff.
so that's more GUI right there.
Yeah, that's GUI.
Yeah.
This one also has GUI right in the top.
GUI is interlaced throughout the entire program.
Yeah. Okay, so this is Orkeen. I did all the with the in a circle in the game class itself. I made all these timers to trigger the events. So basically, like when a player is like say jumping, what's it gonna do? It's gonna trigger a timer, and within the class there's like a jump count to keep track of the frames, and the player is gonna move up and then move down. And then when the player is shooting or punching, it's gonna be in like a similar sort of situation where the count's gonna like make them switch between animation frames. And then at the last moment, the hitboxes get activated to see if there's any damage dealt to either of the players. And then there's a set of these timers for each of the players. So that's how
The two different players.
Yeah, for the two different players. So that's how the game works.
Okay, so I made the UML just right here. It's pretty basic. I just wrote down all the methods and all the variables, and then I drew the arrows which were connected into each of the classes. So yeah, as you can see, the stage select and the super vitals pane are separate because they're a different like menu.
Alright. And then for our other advanced data structure, with the projectile class that Tamid made, I made wait, let me see. I made a queue of projectiles for both of the players. So if they were to fire multiple projectiles, it would take the first one that they fired, and it would see if it dealt any damage, and then it would remove it from the queue, and that would make it the most efficient usage of the data. And
then so when we run the game, here you can see that you can select any character for both of the two players, and you can even select the same character for both players, and then we can just choose a different stage here. So obviously this game is fully functional, and there are no bugs or errors up here.
Should we show all the files of each of the characters?
Yeah, sure. And here we have all the wait, how do I do a picture?
I think you just click it.
Okay. So here is all of the. We each made every single one of these. Me, Tamid, and Rakeen made one of these characters, and so we had to draw individual frames and pictures for every single one, for all their moves and etc. And these are the stage images
yeah.
that I made for the stages, and it's very creative.
Yeah, a lot of creativity.
A lot of creativity.
A lot of
I'm pretty sure we're the only group in the class that has 2-player game. Yep, that's pretty much
Anything
it.
else on the rubric?
That's it. I think we got everything. Oh, and the game is very challenging.
It was very challenging to create.
It was very challenging to create, and it shows in the game as the level of difficulty when you're playing the game itself is dependent on the player, on the player's own skill.
It requires a lot of skill. It's basically like Super Smash Bros. If you've ever heard of that.
And we had, as you could see earlier, we had full documentation for Java docs and the UML, and yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Let's see who wins.
Oh.
Player one wins.